What's going on, No Nation? CJ Wilson here with another episode of Dope Talk. Got a special one right here, man. As we have, run a bye week and it's not too much to cover game wise. Wanted to get some former Noel on, talk a little football and talk about his journey and things like that, and also his take on the current status of FSU football. Got Cam McDonald, former FSU tight end. Cam, what's good, man?
What's going on, CJ, man? I appreciate you having me on here. It's a big opportunity.
No, I appreciate you, bro. It's always good to engage you guys and just to hear you guys' story and things like that, and that type of deal. It's definitely a pleasure to hear what you got to say. So Cam, let's jump right into it, man. That's kind of we're gonna just bring people up to speed a little bit what you got going on, but I want to talk about some of you know what got you to Florida State in the first place, right? So let's talk about the recruiting process and back up a little bit. Out there in California, man, you became a four-star recruit. Let's talk about your recruiting process and just, some of the schools you were considering, how you end up getting to Florida State in the first place.
Yeah, for sure. My recruiting process, it was a once in a lifetime opportunity, man. I see why a lot of these recruits nowadays they try to, explore their best options and figure out what the best fit is for them because it's an amazing experience. Being able to put your talent on display and then have schools actively reach out to you and let you know that they want you to play for their university. It's a humbling experience, especially now because I didn't get to experience recruiting with the NIL. So I already know that a lot of these recruits they should take their time with it. But more specific to my situation, my recruiting started out fast, early. I received my first offer during my sophomore year of high school, and it was all from West Coast schools. So my first offer was the UCLA. I pretty much ended up getting the whole Pac-12, and a lot of people expected me to. I really expected myself to stay in the Pac-12, so I had committed to USC and I was committed to USC for almost the entirety of my senior year, all the way up until the end when I really started to just reflect and figure out what I wanted for my life and what I wanted to achieve out of my football career. So I decided to take a step back because I wanted to broaden my horizons. Being in Southern California my whole life, if I would have went to USC, I would have, naturally I would have made some pretty good connections, but it would have been all based out of California. But now when I took a step back and I got an opportunity to commit to Florida State, I committed to Florida State before I even stepped foot on campus.
Yeah, which is crazy. That a lot of people,
Yeah,
a lot of fans were real shocked about that and excited at the same damn time.
yeah. So I stepped foot. I committed before I took a visit. I committed before I sat down to watch a game, just because the Seminole Head logo recruits for itself. And I watched FSU win a national championship while I was young in 2013. I watched that. I remember exactly where I was when FSU won that title. So I was like, man, there's no way that if they want me to come there and play, that I'm not going. And it ended up being one of the best decisions I made in my life, just because of the connections and the relationships and the people that I met along the way. So my recruiting process was complicated and there was a lot of moving pieces. But as soon as FSU came in, it was a done deal. I was ready to go, and now I'm a Seminole for life.
Can I talk about the pressure? Because I was speaking to a couple of my friends about this. The pressure that a lot of you California kids have to commit and go to USC. I know it's a lot of pressure out there with USC being, the school in California for the most part. Let's talk about the
Yeah.
pressure that a lot of kids have to kind of, being from California to go to USC.
Yeah, naturally, if you're in California and you're a high level recruit, a lot of people expect you to commit to USC. If it's not USC, then UCLA. If not UCLA, then Oregon. It's really one of those three schools that kind of dominate the West Coast in recruiting as far as that goes. And then I went to Long Beach Poly High School. It was like a storyline, pipeline from Long Beach Poly. You're the best, one of the best players on the roster. You end up going to USC. So there is a lot of pressure's a good way to put it, but there's a lot of expectation too. Like if you're that guy out here, they're expecting you to go to USC and just add on to that legacy, and that would have been an amazing opportunity. It's nothing against the Trojans; they are who they are. A story program, blue blood, but there's only one Florida State, and the culture that Florida State represents, the people that Florida State represents, and the alumni base in the NFL that Florida State has. I mean, I don't think it's second to none. Like it rivals the best schools in the country. So the decision was made for me before I even had the opportunity to go there.
So let's talk about that process. Who reached out to you from Florida State and how did that whole process go to getting an offer from Florida State and things like that and that recruitment kind of coming out of nowhere? And like you said, you committing prior to even getting on campus.
Right. Well, obviously, it was the last staff. It was
Mhm.
Coach Taggart's staff and his assistants reached out to me, but the recruiting job to get me to Florida State, it wasn't even hard. I didn't make it hard on them at all. Like I was so ready to be a Seminole and just to pour my entire college career into trying to rebuild the program. Now, naturally, when I committed, I didn't think I was young. I would even say that I was dumb. Like I didn't even do a lot of research about what Florida State was at the time. I just knew them for the logo and I knew them for the brand and I knew them from winning titles and competing for the ACC. But obviously, when I first got there, that's not what it was. So just being able to stay committed to that, it wasn't easy, but it's definitely worthwhile for sure. It wasn't hard to recruit me to Florida State. And if you could have put any coach there, I would have committed.
All right, last recruiting question. When you did finally take an official visit and come to Tallahassee, how was? I know it's like a culture shock coming from the West Coast to the East Coast, but how was that first? Well, how was that official visit to Florida State for you?
Everything that you see on social media and everything that people say around the country about Florida State being one of the most fun universities and one of the best experiences you get when looking for a college, that's the truth. And it was like that for my official visit, man. It was one of the craziest nights of my life. Obviously, it wasn't, I didn't do anything dangerous, but it was one of the best nights of my life. And being a Seminole for the last 5 years is probably going to be one of the best experiences of my life. So the even when we were bad, the university was so much fun. Just the people that were there. I mean, I was just there last week, and it's definitely more fun now. It's it's out of this world right now, but just the excitement, the enjoyment, and the fulfillment that you get by being a college student, not just a college athlete, but a college student at Florida State, it's incredible.
All right, man. I definitely hear that. Being from Tallahassee, I understand what you're saying 100%. 100%. Like you kind of stated, um, coming into FSU wasn't what you expected. It was a rocky situation. Um, Willie Taggart's regime did not work out, and here comes Martin Norvell, a guy from little old Memphis. Let's talk about that transition from Willie Taggart to Martin Norvell, and just being at the state of the program during that point in time.
Yeah, for
What was
sure.
Norvell trying to instill with you guys? Coming from Memphis.
For sure. And I got a lot of respect for the guys that I came in with, like people like Dennis Briggs, Keyshawn Helton, and even though he transferred to Mark Gainer, there's people like that just because of what we went through while we were at Florida State and what we thought we were coming into, and then what we eventually left the program in. Those
Right.
guys have my respect and admiration for the rest of my life just because I've seen the type of resolve and character that they have. But when I first got to Florida State, I was expecting us to contend for ACC titles and be in the national championship picture. And obviously that was not the case. I got there, we were 5-7. I was a freshman. I played on special teams, and I was happy with my role because I just wanted to be a contributor. The next year, obviously, we go what was it 6-7. Our head coach gets fired, and it was just a rocky start from the beginning. But I never lost hope of what the university could be, and really what the university is, because we never lost the history that we had. It's just that the present moment the product on the field was just awful. We can all sit here and say that it was awful. But then as time goes on, the coach Norvell comes here and the discipline and the commitment to the little things and the intensity and that he requires from the people within the program. It requires a certain amount of mental toughness and the way that we tied into the brotherhood when he first got there. I thought that we were going to start winning when he first got there, just because of who he is as a coach. Obviously, we didn't. We had the COVID year. We didn't even have a spring football. We ended up going 3-6 that year, and that was my first year starting. I thought I had a pretty good year that year. So I was like, you know what, man, I'm coming back to Florida State. There's no doubt I'm coming back to Florida State, and we're going to try to do this again. Coach Norvell goes, and the coaching staff, they go hard in the transfer portal, bringing in players like Jermaine Johnson, Keir Thomas, Mackenzie Milton, just real dynamic players that were going to help this team, that I thought were going to help this team win. And eventually, down the stretch, they did end up helping the team win. But that year, we started 0-4, and everybody was calling for Coach Norvell to get canned. Everybody was, we need a new coach. We need to go get somebody else and start all the way over. But the whole time I knew, because I go to work with the man every day, and it's not just him, it's the staff, but he's the tip of the spear, right? And he's so sharp. Every single day he's on point. He comes with the same fire, passion, energy, just desire to get better and desire to be the best coach that he can be. And that rubs off on the program. So the next year is 2022. We start the season out with a big win in Louisiana against LSU, and that was kind of when things started to turn. We started the season 4-0, and then we go on that 3-game slide where we lost three in a row, and then that last week. I mean, not the last week, but the following week. I forgot who it is that we played after we lost our third game. I could tell that this team was just going
Louisville.
to
It
go
was
on a roll.
Louisville. I remember like it was yesterday. It was Louisville. We start out slow. I think it was getting blown out by Louisville. No, sorry, no, it was Louisville. That
But
was when we
nah,
were
I don't
starting
think it was
0.
Louisville.
That was the year
Yeah, I
before that.
think
My
it was.
apologies.
I think it
Who was
was.
that team? I think
Was it
I'm not
Boston
even sure.
College?
It may have been no Boston College was part of the 4-0 start, if I'm not mistaken. But I can look it up real quick. But now go ahead, though, bro. Go ahead.
I don't remember, but regardless, the week after we played NC State, we came back home. We went on a winning stretch, and that team, the 2022 team, had didn't lose another game for the rest of the season, and obviously the Seminoles haven't lost a game since. So it's just kind of a testament, and you just got to tip your cap to not only Coach Norvell and the coaching staff,
It
but
was a
the
Georgia
players that
Tech
have
game.
been
That's right.
there.
Sorry about the Georgia Tech.
Georgia
That
Tech.
was Georgia Tech. Yeah.
Georgia Tech, we were just rolling like on offense. We couldn't be stopped, and like I was saying, it's a testament and respect to Coach Norvell and his coaching staff. But it's more of a you got to tip your cap more to the players, man, just for being able to buy into what Coach Norvell was preaching and being able to really stay there, especially for the players that were there when Coach Norvell first got there and rebuild the program to what it is now. I don't have anything but respect and admiration for everything that's going on there, man. We're competing for a national championship this year. We have more than what it takes to win one, and man, I'm just excited to watch.
Yeah, so you spoke about, Briggs and some other guys. For you personally, how does that feel just to be a part of that, right? You was there at the bottom of the totem pole at the end just to see what you guys done over those couple of years to bring the program to what it is now, to be a piece of that, to be a piece of that foundation, to get FSU back on track to where they are today. Personally, how does that feel for you?
The question kind of cut out a little bit, but I think I got the gist of it. How does it feel being a player on the outside looking in now and seeing what the program is?
How to be a building piece, like you spoke about, Dennis Briggs, Keyshawn
Yeah.
Helton, and of course you're a part of it as well. To be at the bottom of the totem pole, to see where we're at with FSU, and to build the program over the years and be a part of that building piece, to see what the program is done and be in the spotlight and competing for a national championship, and just be in a good spot moving forward. How do you feel to be a part of, like I say, one of those building blocks to get FSU to where they are right to this day?
Obviously, it's a humbling experience for sure, just because I would have loved, I'm not even going to sit here and lie, I would have loved to be a part of this team right here. But there's no way that we get to being here without the effort, the consistency, the commitment to the little things that the teams in the past and the individuals in the past had before. So it's extremely gratifying for me just being able to say that, okay, my final year we won 10 games, and the following year they went on and they competed for a national championship. They started 4-0. They were the number 5 team in the country. Nobody knows what this season is going to look like when it finishes, but what we do know is what they put on tape up to this point. And what they put on tape up to this point is a team that has the ability to dominate college football, go on, win a conference title, and win a national championship. And to be able to say that I was a part of the reason, a large part of the reason, if I can add that, and I mean that in the most humble way, but I don't think that we get to where we are on offense without the commitment that and it's not just me, but the commitment that the players of the past put into that program. The players of the past and the players that were there before and that are still on this team, we don't get to that point without what we went through. So like I said, man, it's gratifying, it's humbling, and I'm proud to be able to wear this logo with pride for the rest of my life, knowing what I was able to do for that university. Obviously, I don't want that to be the peak of my football career because I know that I have the ability to play at the next level. But if it is, and I pride myself in that just because of everything that we went through.
So, Cam, just talk about what you got going on currently. Like you said, just being in a couple camps and things like that, trying to get your shot at the next level. Just talk about what you have currently going on and some of the plans you have for the future. And
So
just in
right now
football
it's
in
just a
general, what you think about football in general for yourself.
yeah. Right now it's just a waiting game. It's so I'll just go based on what my NFL experience was, and I'll just tell that story. So, obviously, I went undrafted. I felt like I had the ability to get drafted, but my numbers at Florida State, they weren't. I don't believe that they were draftable, but I do think that I had draftable talent. But anyways, you can't go back and change it. So I went undrafted, and the Green Bay Packers, organization that I have so much respect and adoration for, just because they gave me my first opportunity in the NFL. They were the first team to call me right after the draft ended, and they were just expressing to me how much they feel like I would have an opportunity to compete there. And obviously, in a situation like that, I feel like in hindsight, it could have been a hasty decision because of the decisions that they did make in the draft and addressing the tight end position. But I was like, man, I'm gonna just go out there and I'm gonna compete with some of the best players in the world and try to earn my spot on the roster. And I went out there and I feel like I played good football. I put good stuff on film. But it's just the NFL is so political and it's a numbers game. So when people went down at other positions, they had to make adjustments to the roster. So I spent about 4 or 5 months in Green Bay, and I didn't even get a chance to play in the preseason for the Packers, which is fine. I mean, that's just the way that the NFL works. But they cut me, I would say, about 2 weeks into camp, and I know that sounds early, but it's actually late in the NFL process because you have organized team activities, and then you have the summer program, and that was all time that I didn't get with my next team that I was going to. 2 days later, well, I come home from Wisconsin. I'm home for 2 days, and 2 days later, the Rams call me. Sorry, there's a helicopter flying over me. I hope you guys can hear me. But the Rams called me, and they said that they have some need at tight end. Go ahead, shut my door. This is where it gets interesting. They said they had some need at tight end, so I was at home, obviously, because I was in Southern California. I went to the Rams training camp and we had a game about 6 or 7 days later, and I feel like I played about 45 snaps in that game, and I played good, consistent, high level football. I think that the 3 games that I played in LA allowed me to see that I actually belong in the NFL and I have more than enough ability to be there. But at the end of the day, spending 3 weeks with an organization isn't enough time to give yourself a real legit shot at making the roster. So the Rams ended up letting me go on the day that 1,100 people get cut out of the NFL, and now it's just a waiting game. So I'm just back and forth from Tallahassee and home, just training, staying around the team, staying around football. The thing is for me is I don't want to get too disconnected from the game, but I also learned during this time that football is not the end all be all. I learned how much God has gifted me with on the football field and off the football field. So I'm excited to be able to take advantage of the opportunities and gifts that he did give me, but I don't think that I've maximized my playing career yet, and that's what's on the horizon for me. As soon as the team calls me, I think they're going to get a great product. I think they're going to get somebody who can contribute in all phases of the game as far as special teams and offense goes. And that's kind of just where I'm at with it, man. I'm young. I don't have any dependents, so I'm just kind of like a rolling stone. The freedom that I've been able to build for myself is nice, though, because it probably won't ever be like this again ever in my life. So I'm still blessed to be in the position that I'm in, but obviously I want to put cleats back on and go to war just because that opportunity to compete at the highest level against the best players in the world is a humbling experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, as long as stay ready for when that phone call do come. You want to blow the opportunity by not being ready. As long as you stay ready by being in shape and things like that, you'll definitely take advantage of the opportunity when it does come. All right, so we got this upcoming season. Give me your prediction for the season and how you think the team will fare for the rest of the way after this bye week.
To be able to predict the rest of the season game by game is hard just because obviously it's football. Florida State has the roster that can beat anybody in the country, but there is no football team that's ever been assembled that can't be beat, right? But I think that who we have at the tip of the spear and who we have as a signal caller or really the shot caller and who we have at quarterback puts us in position to beat anybody and go on and win a national title. So I think that the ceiling of this team is that we can win a national title, and I don't even want to talk about what the floor of this team could be because there's no reason to talk about that, right? Everything is still in front of them. But I will say that these past 2 games, the resiliency and the resolve of the team showed because good teams find a way to win ugly games, and obviously that Boston College game it didn't go in the way that anybody expected it to go. It was supposed to be a blowout. We ended up winning the game 31-28, and you can ask yourself, well, what does that say about this team? But in my opinion, and based on what I know about Florida State football, I think that it's a it's a testament to how far we've come. Because if you would have put that two, if you would have put that same team, I mean that same situation, and applied it to a team from 2 years ago at Florida State or 3 years ago at Florida State, we probably would have dropped that game. We dropped that game plenty of times in the past. So to show the ability that we can finally go on and win that game, just because it was tight doesn't mean that we're not a good football team. It shows that Boston College is better than what people think they are. Clemson, in my opinion, is a top 25 team. They just lost to two really good football teams. So I think it's just a testament that shows where we are as a program and where we can be. Obviously, you know you got to take it week to week, but we went through the hardest part of our schedule already, so the future is bright, man. We can finish 12-0 with a shot to win the ACC title and go on and compete for a national championship. We also couldn't at the same time because that number five ranking means nothing. You still got to spot the ball and win the football game. So I don't know, man. We'll see. They won't surprise me with anything that they do in terms of success because it's all right there for them.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And to your point, teams in the past that we've seen, would have probably dropped those games, especially Clemson and things like that. But to see where we at where we're at within the program right now, and to see those guys kind of fight through and get over that adversity and win those games, it just shows the type of potential this team has. Let's talk about moving forward
Yeah,
because I
not to
think.
interrupt you.
No, go ahead, go
I
ahead.
just want to make this one point. History has a funny way of repeating itself, and I could be wrong, but I believe in 2013 I had just started watching Florida State football, but in 2013, the national championship team, I believe that their game with Boston College was tight too. I remember Jameis
Yep.
threw a hail mary up to Kenny Shaw right before the half, and that I think that ended up being the go ahead score, or maybe we came out and blew them out in the second half because of how good that team was. But that's one of the best college football teams ever,
Mm-hmm.
and they got Boston College. I believe that it was a red bandana game for them too.
Yep.
So you never know, man. Like never know. That's all I'm gonna say. It was exactly 10 years ago. Crazier things have happened.
No, you're right. Exactly 10 years ago, and I think exactly 10 years ago was the last time we Death Valley and won the game. Against the Clemson Tigers up in Death Valley. So that's a very good point. Moving forward, I feel like Norvell has set the program in the right stage. I think moving forward, year in year out, you can kind of test this even more just being inside the program. I think FSU is going to be a legit contender pretty much every season moving forward due to the type of head coach Mike Norvell is and not necessarily tradition, but the type of standard of course he understands the standard in regards to FSU, but just the culture we have within that locker room, within the football facility. So moving forward, how do you feel like, just overall, do you think FSU is in a good spot moving forward, Mike Norvell as head coach?
Oh man, I don't think that you could get a better product as a head coach, for at least in my experience, from what I know, than what you get from Coach Norvell. What happens on the field and the plays that he calls and the players that he recruits, that's one thing, right? I mean, obviously he does a great job. You go on the portal, you get players like Keon Coleman, Jaheim Bell, or anybody like that, like obviously. But you just gotta look at who he is as an individual, who he is as a person. Like the way that he shows up every day and the things that you guys see in the cinematic recap and the things that you see in the climb, that's not just because the cameras are on. Coach Norvell is that way every day in and day out. It's turned up a little bit on game days. His intensity is turned up a little bit on game days, but what you see is what you get from Coach Norvell. And I don't believe that a person with his character, a person with his skill set, and just the way that he loves his players and pushes his guys to go out and be the best version of them and get better every day. I don't know if there's a better package than Coach Norvell. So in terms of what he provides to the team from a cultural standpoint, I mean, I don't think there's a way that you can describe. I mean, obviously there is, but I think that you get my point. He's an incredible individual. He's an amazing person, and if who he is as a person is indicative as to of where the program is going, we're in great hands. I don't think that it can be better. Obviously, we have one of the, if not the best college football coach in the history of coaching in Bobby Bowden, but Coach Norvell is a juggernaut in his own right.
No, I agree 100%. And it's crazy because once Willie Tagg was fired, Norvell's my number one guy. people used to kind of get on me all the time on the timeline, and just the beginning of him being my guy, and just the rough patches as well. I never wavered as far as him being my guy because I knew what type of coach he was. Just seeing what he did at Memphis and hearing the former Memphis players talk about him as well, and also just how young he was at that point in time. So Norvell has always been my guy, and to hear what you're saying now and to see it kind of coming to fruition is amazing. That in hindsight, but I think FSU is in a definitely is in a good spot. You know, moving forward with Coach Norvell running the team. But yeah, Cam, it's been a pleasure, man. Let the
Sure.
people know where they can follow you at, man. What you got going on currently, where they can follow you on social media and things like that, just to keep up with you.
Yeah, man. My social media is still the same from when I was at Florida State. So my Instagram is camm.mcd, and my Twitter is CameronMCD, or my X is CameronMCD. Uh, I don't tweet a lot about Florida State football, but I would say that I study it every day, and I got a lot of insider information. So if anybody ever has a question, I'm not just gonna blast it out on social media. But if anybody ever has a question, feel free to reach out to me, man. Because I understand this roster inside and out. I understand the culture inside and out, and I understand you know our coaching staff inside and out. So I really have so much confidence in this university, confidence in this athletic program, and confidence in this football team. So I'm proud to be a Seminole, and thank you for having me on, CJ.
No, I appreciate you joining, bro. If you're back in town for a home game this year, man, make sure you let me know and come kick it at the tailgate when they throw. It's
Oh, for
going to
sure.
be a town tailgate, so I know you can hang out real good and interact with the fans.
For sure, and I'm actually excited to be able to do that too, man. Because I've never experienced a Florida State football game as a spectator, as a fan, as an alumni. I've only experienced it as a player, so I already know that as an alumni, I'm gonna, people really respect and admire the things that I was able to do for this university, and it was humbling. So I'm definitely gonna come back and take you up on that, man.
Yeah, definitely. They're gonna show you love. And it's also, like you said, is humbling, rewarding, and gratifying that people, remember you and appreciate what you've done for the university and things like that and show you some love. So that's exactly what we want to do. Give you your
For sure,
flowers while
man.
you're still able to get them. So yeah, definitely. If you're in town for a home game, hit me up. We're gonna take care of you for sure.
Got you. I'll let you know for sure.
All right, Kim, it's been a pleasure, man. Appreciate you. You take care.
You too, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Cam McDonald, a former FSU tight end. Currently trying to find his way, do some things in the NFL. And he also has some things that he's also working on if the NFL does not work out. But make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. We're going to open the floor up to some callers in a little bit. If anybody wants to join the show and get their takes off, go ahead and let us know, and we'll get things rolling. It's always dope to have these type of interviews and have these type of to hear that perspective from the other side and just how they feel about certain things. And also, if you guys, we do have super chat available. If you guys have any questions like that, you don't want to join the show, those do get answered directly. You guys can definitely join the show if you like. Call line is open. Coming off this bye week, it's good to get healthy because we're nicked up within those first four games, like I kind of discussed in my last show. So, and also I did mention the last show too to have Virginia Tech, whose team I'm not too good. And I feel like we should be able to um, handily if we do the things we're supposed to. To have them following the bye week is a very good thing. And you look at the landscape across college football over the weekend. No rankings don't matter, things like that, but things are pretty much wide open. Auburn gave Georgia a pretty decent scare up, and well, sorry, I was reading the comment. Auburn gave Georgia a decent scare on the road. And we've seen other teams struggle as well within the top five, the top 10. So I do think things are pretty much wide open this year for anybody. So you don't see any favorites, right? Last year, you knew Georgia was the best team in the country by far and things like that. You don't really see that this year. So I think that kind of opens up the door for us to do what we have to do with the team we have. Just have to stay healthy and build on the games moving forward and be consistent, right? Stay within the moment. it's also great to get back on in the to get back at home as well. I forgot to add the tailgate information to this show, but we will be throwing our tailgate for the Virginia Tech game. I have it implemented on the next show. Tailgate starts at 12:15. Me, James Coleman, and Chris from Sporadics will be teaming together for our tailgate. As you guys know, we throw huge tailgates. The Orlando tailgate for the LSU game was a huge success. Happy to be back at home for the first one. You guys follow me on Twitter or anything like that. I have tweeted out the link, but we'll get it out more quickly. Well, excuse me, more frequently up with this upcoming week for the Virginia Tech game, and we'll have it for the upcoming show. But yeah, we do have the link for the tailgate. I'm going to actually have it thrown in the comments for you guys right now. And like my boy Bo said, I see you in the comments. One game at a time. We just build upon that and build on each game. Start with Virginia Tech, and then going within Syracuse and of course Duke. We should be okay. But I am happy to be back at home. We've been on the road pretty much the entirety of the season, aside from that Southern Miss game. So to be back home is a good thing. And to look at wins a little bit too, especially after the injuries that we had within the first four games, and to come through those games unscathed. And a lot of people predicted 3-1 and 2-2 in the worst case scenario. I think we should be good. See Rose, nah. I think we should sit our injured guys one more week. Nah, I think this is the game we need to play those guys, get knock the rust off a little bit, because I think even though we should be able to handle Syracuse, they are a pretty solid team. Clemson went on the road in the Carrier Dome and beat them by like 14, but I do think we need to if they are healthy now. Don't get me wrong, Rose. If they are healthy to go ahead and play, I think we should get those guys rolling for this game. Just knock the rust off and move forward for the Syracuse and Duke game. Some pretty tough games. I think we need to be hitting on all cylinders. But I do want to see what Rob Scott is. That's one of the main guys I want to see, him and Akeem Dent, as far as an injury standpoint. We haven't seen Rob all year. Just want to see if he could come back and kind of lock down that right tackle position. And we just threw in the tailgate link. So if you guys want to grab tickets to the tailgate, go ahead and do that ASAP while the tickets are at a discounted price. They will be going up to full price this Tuesday. So go ahead and lock in that ticket now on a discounted price. And it will be in the description for the next live of this upcoming Wednesday. But again, if you guys do want to join the show to call, go ahead and do that before we end the show. I want to go ahead and get some questions out of the way if you guys do want to join the show. Yeah, of course, the Florida Gators did lose this weekend. They got dominated by the University of Kentucky. Shout out to Mark Stoops, man. Been a long time head coach at Kentucky, former FSU defensive coordinator. Yeah, they just out physical Florida, man, in every aspect on offense and defense. Pretty much did whatever they wanted to. You got a caller, Ron. You there? What's good, bro? How you doing, man? Pretty good, pretty good. It's good to hear from you.
Likewise, man. Congratulations again. I know. I talked
You
you.
there? I can't hear you now. You went out a little bit. Hold on 1 second.
Can you hear me now?
Ron, you there?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go. I hear you now. All right, go ahead.
When the news broke out about you getting your own show and all
Keep
that,
going out.
man.
Hold on. Can you hear me? Keeps going out. Real quick, Ron. They can hear you on their end, but I can't hear you on mine. 1 second. Let's try to fix it real quick. All right, you there now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Ron, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
No, go ahead, get your take off, Ron. I can't really hear you on my end. Go ahead, get your take off.
Hey, no, man. I was just saying, man, just props to you, man, for what you're doing with the show. Uh, we already discussed when the news broke out about the show about you getting your own show and everything, and how deserving you were of it, man. So shout out to you, shout out to Harlan, man. And one major thing that I just want to touch on is with the bye week, man. I'm glad the bye week came at the point it did in the season. Particularly with Trav and his shoulder, it was a really good thing. Hopefully, he got some good therapy on the shoulder and things like that. And then going into the Vodtech week, man, I really just want to see us get established with this run game. Um, I know the counter's been our bread and butter, but I like to see them backs get downhill a little quicker, and I know that could be just as much with the play calling as well as it is with the backs themselves. Also, like to see the offensive line get a little more movement up front. Uh, and hopefully we can get that run game established and bring a level of physicality to the game that we need, so that way Trav can have essentially another week off and not have to do as much. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my comments off the air, man. I appreciate y'all having me on. Go Noles. Yes, sir.
I appreciate you, Ron. My bad about that. I couldn't hear, but appreciate that, bro. Appreciate you joining. Nick, you there?
Hello, hello, hey,
Can you guys
hello,
hear Nick?
hey, y'all can hear me?
It's on.
Y'all can hear me? Can CJ hear me?
No, go ahead. Get your take off, Nick. We'll figure it out. Go ahead. Get your take off.
Oh, okay. No, I just was calling in, man. I always watch the show and things like that, man, or whatever, man. And pretty much for the most part, man, a big Noel fan, man. I just hope we just came back off of the bye week, and just hope everybody got their proper rest, man, and we just get ready for this Virginia Tech game that's coming up this week. Like watching everybody across the country, man, this thing is wide open, man. And I just want to see, like Ron said earlier, man. I just want to see these we just get this run game going, man. I think if we can get this run game going throughout the season, and find another a third receiver other than Bell to kind of take this offense to the next level. I know he good at Bell good at what he doing or whatever, but we need to find that a third receiver, man. Hopefully, Portier come back, or we find Destin Hill or Wright. We need to just put this offense to the top, to just take it to the next level. Cause there's still a lot of points out there, man, and we haven't played our best ball yet. So that's just my biggest thing. My biggest thing with everything that's going on this year, man. I like what they doing. I like what they doing. So far, so good, man. Watching other teams this week, and like I said, this thing is open, man, and we ready in the thick of things. So that's my take. all all
Yeah,
right, man.
appreciate you, Nick. I couldn't hear, but as long as the callers hear that, all that matters. We'll get everything figured out on our end on the technical
Okay.
side. But if you got anything else, go right ahead and get it off. If not, we'll go ahead and move on. Appreciate the love and support.
All right.
I think we got a super chat, man. Look, play my theme music.
I said, are you strong? They said, I'm strong if you strong. And I said, we strong then.
And shout out my guy Frank, man. Appreciate the love. What's good, CJ? As always, great show. Awesome collab with Cam, VTech, Hate Week. Yes, sir, man. We on some get back a little bit from 2018, so we gotta whoop Virginia Tech's ass a little bit, just off the strength of 5 years ago. Yeah, make sure you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel. We'll take a few more callers to see if you guys want to join. Hopefully, get this audio issue figured out on my end. If not, we'll take care of it on the next show. But again, appreciate the love and support, everyone. Definitely Virginia Tech Hate Week. Someone said we should go out there and swag surf to start the game off, and I couldn't stop laughing. I think we could do it. We're at the stage where we actually can do it. I know FSU fans are, 5 years later, that's still a bad taste in the back of their mind. Anytime they hear, swag surf, they start to break out of hives a little bit. But yeah, it was a dope interview at Cam, man. Real insightful, real insightful. And for him to commit to FSU from the West Coast without even taking a visit, real dope. Now we're gonna probably go ahead and wrap these things up, wrap the show real quickly. See, we don't have anyone else that's kind of trying to join, and also with me not hearing makes I guess interaction a little bit more dull. So again, are y'all concerned about Virginia Tech quarterback Damian Adams? I'll read this question real quick. To be honest with you, I don't know shit about Virginia Tech as of yet. I don't know shit about their quarterback as of yet. I'm not worried about Virginia Tech. I don't think anything they do really poses a threat to what we do. Long as we, like Mike say all the time, long as we focus on us and work on us getting better and things like that, then we'll go from there. But if we play our best ball, only thing we need to focus on is FSU. We do what we're supposed to do. I don't think nobody in the schedule, whatever they have, whatever they. No, I'm not underestimating Virginia Tech. No, I just know what FSU has and what they can do. So again, as long as FSU focus on what they're supposed to focus on, which is them, nope, I don't see anyone on the schedule beating us. We just got to do what we have to do and stay in the moment and focus on FSU. Marvin Jones Jr. hop in the portal. No want to get on speculation and anything like that until it actually happens or something like that. Didn't know what happened. Um, I saw the tweet by Pop Pops Senior, just something about the portal and things like that. Of course, FSU fans are want to kind of gravitate to that and start with rumors and things like that. But until that actually happens, then cool. Then we'll go from there. We need to focus on FSU and what they have, and not nobody that's currently on another team's roster at this point in time without entering their name in the portal. Oh, yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap things up with this show. I appreciate you guys for coming to hang out. Again, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel moving forward. And we'll be back again Wednesday talking about some Virginia Tech and give a little bit more insight from one of their beat reporters. As always, go Noles.